first reason to cover is incentives. Economics is a study of how incentives affect the decision-making of individuals, firms and governments. The biggest contributor to climate change is firms, and specifically energy firms. Therefore, the logical conclusion is that these firms do not have sufficient incentive to stop polluting. Firms make their decisions based on maximising profit. Energy is good where the means of production do not affect the final product. This means the only difference between energy companies is price, giving the industry a high price elasticity of demand. This results in the cheapest possible cost of production being paramount. Currently, the green energy industry has large barriers to entry due to the large initial investment required. Simply, they take too long to become cost effective to be competitive. To solve this, consumers need to be willing to pay more for green energy. How you convince people to do this is a very hard question.
To find out more about the complications, we went to a climate strike and interviewed a local MP.
I'm Elsie. I'm Hannah, and we are part of Scottish Youth Climate Strike.
My name is Chris Law. I'm the Member of Parliament for Dundee West. Being able to be here today is a real privilege because I get to hear the many voices.
I think climate change is the most important issue.
An issue that goes beyond all sort of boundaries.
Secondly, there is the complication of emerging economies. Emerging economies are still a long way away from turning to renewables as their main source of energy. They have massive issues with energy poverty. According to The Independent, there are still 1.3 billion people in energy poverty across the world, and most of them come from the world's poorest economies in Africa and Asia. These economies are more reliant on cheaper sources of energy to solve this crisis. Even though more developed economies are spending massive amounts of money on renewable energy, they are not spending to help provide renewable energy to emerging economies. However, the new schemes such as the HELI scheme are being used to make coal consumption more carbon neutral, as the World Bank has realised that it is simply too expensive to provide green energy to over 1 billion of the world's poorest people.
We should be sharing technologies, showing them best practices, helping them to make that leap away from fossil fuels rather than become dependent upon it.
A third crucial reason is a mistrust of nuclear energy.
The time when nuclear energy was important has now passed. The lessons have been learnt from Chernobyl and also what happened in Fukushima in Japan recently are lessons against that.
Clearly, many people believe nuclear energy is dangerous and not worth switching from fossil fuels for. However, this is not the case. A study carried out by NASA found that nuclear energy has saved 1.8 million lives in a 30-year time period. Comparing this to the 3 million people who die each year of the burning of fossil fuel, it is clear this is a much better alternative. Furthermore, nuclear energy is advancing with experimental designs using thorium or lifters that are able to produce the same energy as uranium with almost 20,000% less fuel. Thorium costs far less than the conventional uranium and also produces less waste and less dangerous waste with a half-life 7,000% lower than uranium. In conclusion, there are 3 major factors that make climate change extremely difficult to tackle. 1. There is a lack of incentive. 2. The moral and social complications of stopping emerging economies from benefiting from fossil fuel use. 3. The fear of nuclear energy still persists.